and your investment will assure a continuation and growth of this unique television service you have come to value so highly. Our phones are open at 372-1200.
This program was made possible by this and other public television stations, which depend largely on viewer contributions. Please join with your support. The program was also funded by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional funding provided by Contel, specializing in communication and information systems and services for business and government and home telephone users across the country. Contel, from telephones to satellites, putting together new ways for the world to communicate.
Did you enjoy the program? Then subscribe. I wish that's all the time we had, because that's about the best I could say. A beautiful program, an intimate look at one of America's favorite actors. And how did you happen to see it? You tuned into Channel 11, your viewer-supported station. Are you a viewer who supports this station? Are you a subscriber? Thank you. You've brought us all a great deal of pleasure this evening. If you've not yet subscribed, this is your opportunity. A telephone call now validates your ticket to watch this station, gets you a front row seat for the finest in programming, not just the Tracy tribute tonight, but the 10,000 programs you watch here on Channel 11 all year long. Those programs merit your attention, your viewing, and they certainly merit your support, financial support, because it all does come down to that, the mundane matter of money. We'd like you to help us make our goal of $1.3 million, and your telephone call now lets us know that this program meant something to you. And it also lets us know that you realize that this is the only station you would find something like this on, Channel 11. Call 372-1200. Subscribe in the largest amount you possibly can. You know, tonight we saw the films that made Spencer Tracy one of the most memorable actors on film. And probably what we saw most of all was a man who had a strong sense of responsibility and commitment in each of his roles, in each of those characters, and as an individual himself. His involvement was total, and the films showed that that could transform him completely. Involvement is our message too. We know that you're the kind of person who cares about the programs you watch on television. And now is your chance to get involved in their selection and perpetuation, because you're the key to quality programming here at Channel 11. Your subscription right now lets us know that this program was worth your time and your money. And there'll be more in the future. We do our best all year long to make the best programming decisions we can with your interests in mind. Your subscription pledge right now lets us do that job. That's why we're here. Call 372-1200 and subscribe in the largest amount you feel you can. We'll pay you back all year long with great programs you love to see on Channel 11. Any subscription is welcome. $5, believe me, those $5 will go towards more programs. And in fact, those $5 will actually bring an extra $1 or $2, because every $3 brings us an extra $1 by one of our challenge grants. So your money can go much further than you think. And there are some added benefits for you as well, besides the programs. A $35 subscription pledge will bring you 12 full months of Dial 11 magazine. This is our monthly program guide. Complete listings in here for all the programs you see on Channel 11, a little synopsis of each of the primetime programs, and there's a list of daytime programs, repeat broadcast schedule, which programs are closed captioned, lots of interesting behind-the-scenes information as well. A $35 subscription will have this in your mailbox within about 6 weeks. Just $15 more a year will bring you Dial 11 and 12 months of Chicago Magazine, the guide to everything that's happening in the city. The Kelson's Dining Guide is in there, listings for WFMT, concert news, gallery openings, museum hours, special events for kids, what's free, and terrific articles. It's all in Chicago. And a $50 subscription will bring you 12 months of both. $50 subscription is only $1 a week. Think about it, you spend that much on a newspaper. How about $75 a year? $75 a year. I was talking about a Sunday paper, okay, $1. That's pretty close. You can find your own equivalencies that may mean more to you. $75 a year would not, let's see, $75 a year, what's 5 into 75? Whatever that is, That's how many movies you could see, and it's nowhere near the 300 you're going to see on Channel 11. But I ramble. My point is that a $75 subscription can bring you $50 off your next trip anywhere in the United States on United Airlines, whether it's Alaska or Hawaii. That will also be covered. So you're making a $75 subscription. $75 goes into the programming coffers here at Channel 11. $50 comes back to you off your airfare. Plus you get Dial 11 and Chicago Magazine. You just can't do better than that, not to mention the 10,000 programs a year. And it's so easy to subscribe. It takes about 60 seconds, right, Bob?
You are so right, Nancy. That's about all the time it takes. You have to dial first 372-1200, and that puts you in touch with one of these fine operators sitting here volunteering their time to take your call, to take your subscription pledge. And that's all it takes. And once you call in, you let the operator know how you are planning to pay, whether it's a check or money order or credit card, Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. Remember, you are the key to the fine quality programming here on Channel 11. You're the key to the wonderful children's programming that's seen throughout the day. Just for instance, this evening alone, there's been public affairs programming, nature programming, documentaries, no children's programming this evening, but earlier today there was much of that. And then there's still more programming in store for you for the remainder of tonight and tomorrow throughout the year. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about assuming your responsibility for this viewer-assisted television. And that's exactly what this is, viewer-assisted television. And we'll talk about that a bit more later on, about how 77% of this comes from you. But first, let's go back to Nancy.
Well, Bob told you how to do it. Now, how to pay for it? You've got three choices there. You can use a bank card, MasterCard, Visa, or American Express. That's kind of a handy way because we can speed your premium to you if you've selected one, and you don't have to mail anything or worry about anything else. It's all taken care of for you. Just have your account number and expiration date that appear on the face of your card handy by the telephone when you call. That'll speed things along too. So, a bank card is a good way to pay, but of course we will not turn our noses up at a check or money order. And the packet that you'll get after you call us will contain a self-addressed stamped envelope for you to mail it back to us in. It's important to fulfill the subscription pledge you make tonight. Promises can't buy programs. We need your help, and we need it right now. 372-1200. As I mentioned before, we do have a challenge grant this evening, and the Regenstein Foundation are the people who are helping us in this area, and they will give us $1 for every $3 that we raise. So, as I said, a $6 pledge is actually worth $8, and so forth. I'm not very good at math on the spot, as you just saw, but any amount that you pledge is worth more than its face value. We can do it together. Help us climb that mountain one step at a time. You're so important to this station. How important are you? Here's Bob.
That's okay, Nancy. I'm not much better with math on the spot either. That's why I have this graph right here to help explain it. Now, as I mentioned before, 77% of the total budget comes from you. That's called viewer-assisted television. And that means that Channel 11 depends on you for this vast majority of it, that whole green area there. That's viewer-assisted money, money that comes in from the public. Now, 15% comes from program production contracts. That's some of the corporations that you see mention their name at the end of the programming. Comes in from the federal government, some of it. 10% of it is generated from underwriting messages from that you see at the end of the programming. So that's just a small portion of it. The majority of it comes from you, the viewer, 77% of it, and that means that a great deal of it is dependent upon you to assume your responsibility for the fine programming that is seen here throughout the evening. As I mentioned earlier, such a wide variety of programming. This tribute to Hepburn, by Hepburn to Tracy tonight was a fine program. It brought back memories for me of some of the movies that I've seen throughout the years, and I have marveled at the acting ability of Spencer Tracy, and it was just fine. So that's just a part of it. Keep that in mind. And the way the phones have been ringing this evening, I think, is an indication that many of you are appreciating this fine quality type programming. So we hope to hear from others of you who have not yet called. Let's go back to Nancy.
If you've subscribed tonight, thank you very much. It's going to enhance your life considerably over the next year, because we'll be able to continue this tradition of quality that you expect from Channel 11. You know, in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Tracy's character